When using tikz and PGF, we might want to place various objects at different locations in our picture. For example, we might want to put text at various locations, and we can do this using nodes. Then we can do various decorations on our nodes, or possibly join nodes together by drawing lines between them. So if we start off with a relatively basic example, so we're going to start off with our tikz picture, but we're going to put a grid background down so we can locate things within that grid. So we use the draw command for the grid. The step option is how frequently we want there to be grid lines. Very thin, because we want very thin lines, and then the colour of the lines is a light shade of grey, which we do using the black, and the exclamation mark 20 makes our black colour less intense. So our grid is specified here with a bottom left to top right coordinates. So if we compile our file, we can see we've got our grid here. So we'll just zoom in a bit so we can look at things on that grid. So first up, let's say we want to put some text on here. We can make use of the draw command, and let's say we want to put something at -2, so near the top left of our picture. We then need to specify that we're putting a node, and let's call the node A, or rather put the text A in the node. So we can see it's put it up here. So now let's say we want to do another node next to it. This one's only -1 across, same height, but this case we're going to put some maths there. So we go into maths mode using the $sign, and let's put x1 into that position. So we can then see, we zoom in a little bit, that we've got a node that says x1. So now let's say we want to put a box around this node rather than just having the letter. So we're going to create a new node. Rather than using the draw command, we use the node command, and we specify that we would like a rectangle for our shape around the node, but we also need to specify what colour we're going to draw the outline, otherwise we won't actually have a rectangle there. So let's say we want to use a black outline, so we have draw equals black in the options, and then we need to specify what actually appears at the node. So let's put the letter B, we run that, and now we can see, because we didn't specify a location, it's put it in the centre. So let's instead move that up by a couple of units. Just compile that again, and we'll see that we've got our B further up. So actually we just need to put in the at command there so that it knows where we want the node to be located, so at 0,2. So let's say rather than having a square, we want to have a circle. So in this case we change our shape as rectangle to circle. Let's say we want to have a blue outline for it, so we have draw equals blue, and this time we're going to put it at 1 across and 2 up. So we'll compile that and we'll call that C. So we now see we've got a blue outline. So one more circle up on the next line, which we're going to call D, so it's at 2, 2, but this time let's fill in the background as a slightly lighter shade of blue. So it's the blue exclamation mark 50 to have a lighter bit, so we can see we've got a darker outline and a lighter inside part to fill up the background. So what we then might want to do is that let's create ourselves a rectangle and give that particular rectangle some different shading. So if we move on to the next line down, and here we make use of the shade command, and let's say we want to do a top to bottom colour, and we specify a top colour as red and a bottom colour as white, so that will put a shade in from top to bottom. We then specify our bottom left coordinate for our rectangle and the top left one. So if we want to put it underneath, it's at -2 across, but this time we're going to put it up at 1, and then we want to go across from -2 to 0 and go down towards 0, 0 at the centre. So now we see we've got a box starting at red at the top, going down shading to white at the bottom. So we might want to put rounded corners at the edge of that, so we put that into the options, and then we'll take a look at that and we can see it's rounded at those edges, which might give a nicer look potentially. So if we want to then have the colour from left to right rather than top to bottom, we will shift this down by a couple of units. So we'll start this at -1 and go it down to -2. But rather than having top and bottom colour, we'll end up having our left and right colour. So let's say our left colour is going to be black, and in this case our right colour is going to be, let's just say, a shade of blue. Then we run that, and now we see we've got the shading going from left to right in our picture.